Hello, everyone. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Mecca, and this channel is called Mecca.mp4, where I basically just come on the internet, talk about my own life experiences to other Christians and Christian entrepreneurs, and try to help people navigate their business life, their professional life, while keeping Christ at the center, while keeping Christ in mind as you build a successful business and how to do it God's way and ultimately become a kingdom builder. So, today, as you can see by the title of this video, or maybe you can't see by the title of this video because I haven't come up with it yet, but today I'm going to be explaining what I call the faith value framework. This is really just a comparison between worldly business practices and godly business practices because I don't know, I feel like a lot of Christians don't exactly know how to navigate business in a way that's honorable to God, and especially what business models are honorable to God. Obviously, there's the obvious ones that aren't honorable to God, like OnlyFans and, you know, um, get rich quick schemes and things like that. But there's a lot of subtle things that we can tend to overlook if we don't know what we're exactly looking for. So today I created something called the Faith Value Framework, and this is basically just a guide on navigating how to make your business a godly business, and if you already have a business, how to make it even more kingdom focused, kingdom led, so you can honor God in your entrepreneurial life. So the Faith Value Framework is a detailed guide for entrepreneurs who want to build and run businesses God's way. This guide will help you navigate the difference between worldly and godly business practices, showing what pitfalls we should avoid in business, and explain how we can maintain integrity and honesty in all aspects of work. Really just letting Christ, letting Jesus shine through our work, through our occupations, our career paths, and giving him all the glory. This guide will challenge you to step away from the conventional norms driven by self interest and greed and whatever the world tries to push on entrepreneurs and what the world's definition of entrepreneurship should look like, and instead embrace a kingdom focused approach. By following this blueprint, you can create a business that honors God, blesses others, and thrives in a sustainable and meaningful way. So, firstly, I wanted to start off by comparing what is worldly business and what is a godly business. And the focus of worldly business usually revolves around self-interest and really prioritizing profit above else. We've all heard the sayings of get the bag by any means necessary. I don't know, whatever worldly terms, people use. And these practices, they might in the short term, probably in the short term, can still yield financial success, but they often come to a high cost, at the cost of relationships, at the cost of your integrity, at the cost of your morality, your relationship with God, with Christ. A lot of people will put getting money or their business over God, right? And they cut corners, and they get money in dishonest ways. And some defining traits of worldly business are profit at any cost. In a worldly business, decisions are frequently driven by the bottom line. If it's not making money, don't speak to me. If you ain't talking money, you must be speaking Chinese. Crazy, right? We shouldn't be driven by money at the end of the day, because the Bible tells us that we can't serve two masters. You either love the one and hate the other. And you really have to think, in the Bible, there's no other thing that's given God status other than money, right? Obviously, money is no God, but people can treat it like a God, treat it like an idol. And the fact that you either serve money or you serve God, and like how much of an emphasis on greed there is, and how much that can really control, and how much power that idol can have in your life, really just means a lot. And if it means exploiting others or compromising your beliefs, like money is just really one of those things that can really lead you to unethical practices. And you could start overcharging people, you could start scamming people, ignoring the well-being of your end user customer and clients. You shouldn't be so focused on the money or making a profit that you have to mislead people or deceive people, right? And also winning by any means. In the worldly context, success is often measured by how much one person performs better than others. This win at all cost mentality usually breeds jealousy, sabotage, and hostility among partners. We live in such a time in 2025 with Instagram, and it's so easy to compare your winnings to somebody else if you're making more money than somebody else by the possessions you have. It's just a win by any means kind of thing. Like you could be in the same exact industry, the same exact field, and it's really just competition. Like people can be working in the same business as well and still be competing with each other, which I think is a super crazy thing. And winning by any means, if you have to sabotage your relationships, sabotage others just for the sake of winning, it's just not worth it. And temporary satisfaction. The focus on material gains and recognition often offers fleeting happiness. Many people will find themselves chasing more but feeling less over time. No amount of temporary success can fill a eternal need. Even the richest people in the world, right? All the guys that have all the money in the world, billionaires, have even come out and said, they have everything. They don't need anything. They can do whatever they want. They can travel to any place, buy anything they want at any time, and they still feel a sense of lost in their life. Like they feel lost, and they can't exactly know. They don't know why, right? And the real reason why is because it doesn't matter how much money you obtain, how much success you obtain, how much worldly items and materials you consume and buy. You can't fill an eternal hole, an eternal desire with something temporary. Like everything in the world is fleeting. All our desires, everything, like the cars, the money, our businesses, even, like all these things are temporary. And if you're just focused on getting money for the sake of filling temporary holes, and you don't have purpose behind what you're doing, you're honestly just doing it for nothing. And so many millionaires and billionaires have come out depressed and sad because the money can't fill that eternal hole that they fill in their heart, right? They just lack purpose. And worldly business is also self-centered too. Leaders in worldly businesses often pursue personal gain, seeking fame, wealth, or status over serving their team or community. This is completely contrary to God's design. Whoever is first must be last, serving others before serving themselves, right? It's literally going back to that winning by any means. There's just competition. It's self-centered. It's who can acquire the most, who can acquire more, and it's really just a means to an end, right? It's all temporary satisfaction. And the Bible also warns against this approach as well. Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Proverbs 11:28. While worldly businesses may achieve you financial success in the short term, you will likely leave a trail of broken relationships, ethical compromises, and spiritual emptiness. When wealth and self interest dominate, the foundation of the business becomes weak, leading to spiritual decline and idolatry. Idolatry. Big on the idolatry, man, because if you're so focused on the money, so focused, your mindset is just like in a worldly business mindset, you're going to make money an idol, right? As soon as something goes left in the business, your whole mood changes. You start talking to people differently. You're just stressed because your God, in a sense, right, is money. That's your idol. So when the money stops coming, when you've built your whole personality and reality on the money, you're going to fall away. You're going to falter because the foundation of the business is self-interest, is money, is greed, right? There's no foundation. We need to have a foundation of Christ in our business. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their outcome. You can't love money, right? It's okay to have money, but you can't love money. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. So I really want you to ask yourself, have you ever made decisions in your business that prioritized profit over relationships or your ethics? Do you find yourself comparing your success to others and feeling inadequate or envious? Has the pursuit of wealth caused you to spiritually compromise? Big on spiritually compromise, right? Just for, my friend, they're actually an influencer, and they're a Christian as well, and they haven't done certain brand deals because it feels like a spiritual compromise. Like, yes, the brands are willing to pay. They're going to get paid for those sponsorships and things like that. But there's just some brands and some companies and some, collaborations you just can't do because it feels like a spiritual compromise. If you're an influencer or a creator and, you get a brand deal from, a certain company or brand or whatever, some stuff you just got to turn down because those brands could directly be spiritually leading people astray unknowingly. So those are the kind of things you have to remember. Is your pursuit of wealth and business and entrepreneurship causing you to spiritually compromise? And that can go for all areas. Are you checking your emails in the morning before you're praying? Are you, staying up late at night, stressing, worrying instead of, putting your faith in God? Don't spiritually compromise for the sake of money in your business. God's going to take care of you anyway. Just make sure that God is the priority. And so now we can get into what the focus of a godly business looks like. A godly business operates in a completely and entirely otherworldly realm than a worldly business. It recognizes that business is not just a tool for making money, but a platform to glorify God and serve others. Some characteristics of a godly business are a service-oriented business. A godly business usually seeks to meet the needs of others and contribute positively in their lives. Its focus is on how it can create value for others rather than just simply extracting value. Like, my big thing is, if you're giving value to somebody and their perceived value of whatever you're giving them is high, and you feel like you're actually giving value to someone, that's the goal. Like, money is a byproduct from giving value to somebody. Your business, especially one that honors God, your business should seek to make the end customer's experience better, make their state way better after they've used your products or used your service, right? It should be focused on the customer and not just about the money, because the money will follow if you're just giving enough value. It should also have an eternal perspective. Decisions are made with eternity in mind instead of focusing solely on short-term gains. A godly entrepreneur considers the long-term impact of their actions on people, communities, and God's kingdom, right? It's not just about money. It's just not about the short term. It should be eternal. It should be focused on honoring God. I'm not saying you have to make, your brand or business, necessarily like a gospel business, like a gospel brand or anything like that. But it should be gospel inspired. I have my dentist or my orthodontist here, and I could just tell it was a Christian business just by being in there. They have Bible verses literally on the wall. They're playing gospel music in the background, So it's like they're not necessarily like a Bible business, if that makes sense, but it's like they're honoring God through their business. So you should really have that type of perspective on your business as well. Servanthood too. Leaders in godly business bear fruit in Jesus by serving others with humility, compassion, and fairness. They prioritize the well-being of their partners over maximizing profits at the expense of others. If you're a leader in your business, you should be a servant first. The Bible says, "He who is first must be last." That's what it takes to be a leader. You should seek to be a leader in your business rather than a boss in your business. You want to lead by example. Be an example. Be humble. Being willing to learn from the people you're working with, people that are working under you. You should be willing to want to learn and desire to learn from everybody. And having a dependence on God. Prayer and seeking God's guidance are central to the decision-making process. A godly entrepreneur understands that success comes from God and not just their own efforts. At the end of the day, I say it a million times, we're all stewards, right? We own nothing. We have to have a dependence on God. And I feel like even in my journey, I've had to, like, I've been forced to understand this as well. Because anytime I try to do something outside of the will of God, it always goes bad. It always goes bad. And I think that's really God just telling me that apart from Him, I can actually do nothing, right? Obviously, I'm not saying there's wicked people that are successful, but you should really be having a dependence on God. And I think that's the lesson I've been getting taught too. And it's really just made me have that much more faith and reliance on the Lord, because literally apart from Him, I can do nothing. Any idea I try to do apart from God, apart from doing it God's way or in God's will, it always goes bad for me. And I think that's a blessing as well, because it just teaches me to have a true dependence on the Lord. And a Christ-led business can operate with a clear conscience and a sense of purpose. By putting God first, you often experience blessings such as a loyal audience, fulfilled business partners, and a positive reputation that extends beyond profits. And the Bible says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others." Always putting others before ourselves and seeking to just make and create value for our customers, for our clients, our business partners over the fact of just making money. And so I just want to ask you guys a practical reflection. In what ways can your business serve others and reflect God's love? Are your business decisions guided by prayer and God's word, or are they influenced by worldly pursuits, right? Create value. Money becomes a byproduct of creating value. And so a side-by-side comparison I put in this chart, some goals. The goals of a worldly business are to maximize profit, and the goals of a godly business are to glorify God. Leadership in a worldly business is self-serving and it's focused on personal gain, while leadership in a godly business is Christ-like, focusing on serving others. Values in a worldly business are just earning money and gaining worthless pursuits and materialism. Godly business values are integrity, honesty, and humility. Perspectives in a worldly business are temporary and materialistic, and perspectives in a godly business are eternal, kingdom minded. And the motivation behind a worldly business is usually self-interest and personal recognition. And in a godly business, it's fulfilling God's purpose. And with that being said, you want to understand the value of building your business, building your venture, building out your ideas with integrity. At its core, integrity means doing what is right even when no one is watching. For a Christian entrepreneur, this means running your business according to the Bible rather than what's politically correct, whatever the world decides to tell you is right. It requires transparency, honesty, and a genuine desire to serve others rather than exploit them for personal gain. The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. Proverbs 11:1. Honesty is the foundation of integrity. It builds trust and creates a reputation of reliability and dependency. And one thing about the Bible, there is an emphasis on a good reputation. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver or gold. Proverbs 22:1. And so I wanted to offer you guys a way to maintain integrity, right? It's like, how do we maintain integrity? How can we approach making integrity a priority? The first being, just be transparent with your offer, right? Transparency means being upfront about what your business offers, including pricing, product quality, and the limitations of what you can actually do, right? Just be honest. A lot of people try to hype up their products and offers. If you just can't do something, just say you can't do it. And that'll save you so much heartache down the line because you won't even have to deal with those situations. It's like, if you can't do something, you won't be expected to do it, right? When you close your client. Misleading clients may result in short-term gains, but it will damage your reputation in the long run. And one thing about a reputation is something to be chosen rather than great riches. You want to protect your reputation, especially in business. To do this, you can clearly state the benefits and limitations of your products and services. Avoid exaggerating claims or making promises you can't keep. Ensure all contract terms and agreements are straightforward and easy to understand. And I want you to ask yourself, are there any areas in your business where you can improve your transparency? The next is delivering on your promises. I can guarantee there is nothing worse in a business than failing to deliver on your promises. This is a recipe for bad reviews, a negative reputation, and short-term business success. If you're not confident in your offer, either change it or make it known to your client that certain outcomes aren't guaranteed. So if you're closing your client, if you're on the call with them, literally just set realistic expectations and be accountable when mistakes happen and work to make them right, and that'll turn a short-term business into a long-term business, and it will set you up for referrals as well. And the next is treating partners fairly. Your employees and business partners are key stakeholders in your business. Treating them with fairness and respect is essential to running a lasting operation. Remember, we're looking for the long term here, right? We're not doing no get rich quick scheme. This is something to last, right? You want to make your business built to last. So pay fair wages and provide a positive work environment. Treat people good, man. Pay people good, If there's a bare minimum, go above the bare minimum, right? Especially, there's businesses that will literally pay their workers, their employees, the bare minimum. And their workers are, working faithfully, they're showing up to work, but they can barely survive, right? Just because they're not mandated to. So if you can, just go a little bit above and beyond, you want to give value to people, right? It's all about giving value to people. And communicate openly and listen to concerns, right? You're always a servant, you're never above anybody. So just being willing to communicate openly and listen to concerns of your business partners and employees. And the Bible literally says, Masters, treat your bond servants justly and fairly, knowing that you also have a master in heaven. Colossians 4:1. So I want you to ask yourself, are you providing your employees and partners with the fairness and respect they deserve? Right? Just self-evaluate. You might have to kill some pride, but just self-evaluate and find ways you can improve. Next is avoiding greed. Charging fair prices and maintaining ethical practices are key to building a business with integrity. Greed can lead to overpricing, exploitation, and a loss of trust, which are contrary to God's design for business. Nothing's wrong with charging what you're worth. If you're worth, that price tag of $3,000, $5,000, then charge for it, right? You just want to make sure the value you're providing is worth more than what you're charging. Because if you know your product or your service or whatever you're offering is not worth that price tag, you're kind of just you're bumping up the numbers to exploit people, right? And you don't want to do that. So avoid greed and set fair prices, right? Overcharging may bring immediate financial gain, but it damages your reputation and relationships over time. Like I said, nothing is wrong with charging what you're worth, but consider if your pricing aims to exploit revenue. Ensure your pricing reflects the value you offer without taking advantage of your clients. So ask yourself, are your prices fair and do they reflect the value that you provide? All things to consider. Next is avoiding cutting corners. Greed often tempts business owners to cut corners, such as using bad quality materials or underpaying partners. These practices may save money in the short term, but compromise the quality of your offerings and your integrity. Invest in the quality of your offer and prioritize long-term satisfaction over short-term profits. And just ask yourself, have you ever compromised quality or fairness to save money? How can you avoid this in the future? No one likes a cheapskate, man. If you're going to make some clothes, make them good quality, right? Don't be sending out some boo-boo quality, man. Make sure that people got exactly what they're paying for, especially if you're charging a certain price, Make sure they're getting the value of what they're paying for. Lastly is give generously. Give generously to them and do so without a grudging heart. Then because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and everything you put your hand to. Deuteronomy 15:10. A business built on integrity sees profit not just as a personal gain, but as an opportunity to bless others. So set aside a portion of your profits to support those in needs and consider giving your first to God always. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. Proverbs 16:8. Give generously. We don't own anything at the end of the day. We're all stewards in this game of life. So nothing's really your own at the end of the day. So just give generously. He who refreshes others will be refreshed himself. So if you made it to this end of this video, I thank you for watching this whole thing. As you guys can see here, you can join our Christian entrepreneur community. This is just a community where we work with other creators, other coaches, freelancers, business owners who want to create businesses with God in mind, make God a priority. Yeah, so if you want to go here, you want to join us, it's only $7 a month. I think that's like a Chipotle bowl depending on what state you're in. And you can come talk to us. We have weekly calls. We always talk and, we yap and stuff. So if you want to build your network of other Christian entrepreneurs, you can do so. So whoever's listening to this right now, I thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. If there's any part of your business where, you think you might have some worldly influence in it, take it to God and ask him to help you create a godly business, right? And if you want the link to this document so you can have it for yourself, you can find it in the description and you can reference it whenever you want. So until next time, peace.